officially recording. So today we are talking about the Keller Williams Smart Plans follow-up systems and what some of your favorites are, how you're using them in your business. And if you guys aren't using Command, I know some people pop on that use VidIQ or other why can't I talk today? VidIQ or other databases that have follow-up plans in them. Hey, Patrick. So if you guys are doing other types of follow-up, please feel free to share with what some of those plans are as well. You can take Command plans and put them in other platforms and vice versa. We're just talking about general best practices for follow-up and staying in front of our people, 36 touch, that type of stuff. So with that, I would love to hear, this is the participation part, what you guys are looking to get out of today. What attracted you to come to this mastermind session? Tell me, share with me. Feel free to unmute. And for those of you in the room, if you're talking, we're just going to pass this little guy around so everybody on Zoom can hear as well. Thanks, Pam. Sure.
Amy, I'm here because I attended a 36 touch class yesterday, and so I saw for the first time as I'm a new agent how you did the steps and to understand the concept and to see some of the marketing material. So I'm here to actually get that into place, and then also maybe get into I think it's called the golden letter, your first time letter coming out. So I want to make sure that I have you in person, that I do it correctly before I get that button.
So golden letter, and maybe just like what other things are out there that you can implement.
To do the drip section.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
36 touch. I want Command to work for me.
Perfect. Whitney said new smart plan ideas and what's working for others. Great. So new ideas. Anything else, Patrick? Kinga? Christy? Any thoughts? What bring you in today? What are you hoping to get out of Mastermind?
I was in that 36 touch thing yesterday, and so I don't use SmartPlan, so
Okay.
I'm going to use SmartPlan.
So some of you on Zoom may have been in our 36 touch class yesterday as well. So that's what Christy and Pam both said, they were in that, so they kind of want to explore that a little bit more. Anything else on Zoom as far as goals of what you guys are looking to get out of today? I want to make sure we cover all bases. No, that's it. Okay. All right, so let's start with, can you guys either unmute or put in the chat and show of hands in the room, who is already using at least one smart plan? Okay, I got 3 out of 4 in the room. What about on Zoom? We got a thumbs up from Whitney. Anybody else using smart plans? Got a thumbs up from Chris in Florida. Great. And another Chris. I don't know where that one's from, but that's okay. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so let's go around and talk about what plans you guys are already implementing in your business and why you're using it. Who wants to break the ice and go first? Should we do Zoom? Let's do Zoom first. Somebody unmute from Zoom. Tell us what you're using and why.
I'm using the monthly neighborhood
Okay,
nurture.
thank you.
Yeah, the monthly neighborhood nurture because it's just an easy and fun way to stay in touch.
Oh, Angela said she's driving and listening. Great. Whitney, if you're talking, we can't hear you. Let me see if we need to adjust.
Can you hear me now?
Speakers. Let me put it on my laptop and see if it's coming out of here. That's fine. Okay, Whitney, can you say something?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you guys hear okay? Okay. Yes.
So I just got started with the monthly neighborhood nurture because it's just an easy and kind of not time-consuming way to make touches.
Perfect. Monthly neighborhood nurture. Is anybody else using that one? Monthly neighborhood nurture. Yep. All right. So who wants to talk a little bit about what that is and how they're using it? Kinga, why don't you? Because you said you're also using it. I know, I'm putting you on the spot. I'm not telling you. So what do you do with the monthly neighborhood nurture?
Set up like all contact my library database on the SmartPlan.
Yep.
Because I think it's #1 SmartPlan everyone should be on.
And why is that?
It's about the neighborhood they currently live in, or you can also
they love to take in the future. They are planning to buy a house. So you can play with that actually. That's smart.
Yes, and then you brought up a great point that you don't have to limit it to the neighborhood that they're currently in. If you guys are not familiar with the monthly neighborhood nurture, you can make it bi-monthly, so it goes out every other week, or you can make it monthly, so it goes out at once a month. And you can choose the neighborhoods that the people are currently living in, where they want to go, and you have access to anything around anywhere that the Keller Williams has access to listings on the MLS. You can also use to give information about those neighborhoods for your clients. So it is really quite a robust system. You guys can, like, if you think that, or that one of your clients wants to move and retire somewhere else someday, you can put them on a drip about that location. Yeah, Kinga, that's a great point. It's a really good one-to-many smart plan. So you can have several, like, it's good for any person that you meet, whether it's an open house or door knocking, or she's passing out the mic. So you can put anybody on that one. It's a great one. That's kind of like a nice blanket one. And depending if you're doing it bi-monthly or monthly, it's either 12 or 24 touches in a year all on its own. And it's just an email. And then I see Chris Walker. Thank you. He said he's using the intro to the neighborhood nurture as well as a renter education sequence. So Chris, I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, the intro to that monthly neighborhood nurture is kind of like letting people know what it is before you just start dripping the neighborhoods on them. They start getting this random email. He's nodding. Perfect. And Chris, you are unmuted, it looks like. Could you talk to us a little bit about your renter education plan?
Yes, real simple. It's series of 10, maybe 12 emails, more or less, that just kind of drops things like, have you thought about renter's insurance? What the typical requirements are before getting a rental. So it's a way of showing up in their email boxes while they're still looking at a rental that they haven't found yet.
And is that something you built, or is it something that's in the library, or both?
It's something that I built, and it refers to some stuff on our website and things along those lines.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing.
You bet.
Okay, so I did just ask something that if you guys are new to Smart Plans, you might not be aware of. So Chris built that from scratch. And you do have the ability, if you are looking for ideas, you can go to the SmartPlan Library and see if there's anything out there that's already been built that you want to implement in your own business. So you can go into Smart Plans, and up at the top, there's going to be a My Smart Plans and a library button. And in the library, you can go and search for all kinds of things like renters or FSBO or Facebook follow-up. And chances are there's already a plan out there that might be ready to go right away, or maybe you want to customize it a little bit, put your own little spin, your voice on it, and then you don't have to recreate the whole deal. So that renter follow-up is a great idea of something to look for if that's in your area. All right, what else do we have? What else are people using? I saw a few other thumbs and hands up. Patrick, are you using anything other than the monthly neighborhood right now?
I have birthday smart plan going.
Birthdays.
I have a question about that.
Okay. So Patrick's using the birthday one, and Tinka has a question.
Yeah, birthdays. I don't have that with me, so the birthday smart plan, like how do you set it up? How does it work? Actually, this is a simple question.
Yeah, no, that's
I was trying to set up, someone on the smart plan.
Mhm.
And honestly, I didn't know how with this particular one.
Yeah, so all you need for the birthday smart plan brief question is, well, you obviously need their birthday programmed into command, right?
Yes.
So the birthday smart plan that I recommend that everybody uses is actually the Keller Williams one, because it is triggered by the date in the actual contact information. So you won't have to set up like a year from now, start this plan, or I want to start this plan on this date. You don't have to tell it that, it just knows because the birthday is programmed into the system. And the way that one works is about 6 days before the birthday, you'll get a reminder that says, time to send a birthday card. So you can do a handwritten card and mail it out.
So I see the steps because I know it's very simple, smart plan. And it was funny, but I honestly didn't know how to,
Yeah.
I think it gives you a reminder to do one of the right?
Yes, you
It
will
doesn't
get a
actually
task
send it.
reminder.
Okay.
So anything that is something like writing a card or making a call will send you a reminder to do those actions. I'm just gonna pull up command really quick. And anything that is like an automated text message or an email, those things can go out automatically. You just have to set them up to do so. So for those of you on Zoom, I'm just about to pull up commands. So give me 1 second, I'll get in there. And I'll share my screen. All right, can you guys see my screen on Zoom now?
Yes.
I'm gonna assume yes, because I don't hear or see anybody saying no, but I just pulled up command. And if we're gonna go into smart plans here, you can see at the top, this is that library button I was talking about. So the one Kinga was just mentioning and Patrick says he's using is the birthday plan. So if I just type in birthday in the search field, it will pull up anything with birthday. And you can see there's a whole bunch in here. But like I said, the one that is actually authored by Keller Williams is the one that is linked to the birthday inside the contact card. So that's the one you're going to want to use. And you can hit view steps to see what those different steps are and hover over them to see if there's some sort of script or anything else like that that you want to kind of get a preview of before you bring it into your system. Yes, oh, 1 second. Christy's got a question. Let me give you the mic.
My question is this Twilio. I've never looked into it.
Thank you so much for asking.
Because I guess my hesitation, and maybe I'm completely wrong, is that it's like a randomly generated number, and I feel like that might be safe for texting my
Gotcha.
database.
Yeah.
So what is the
How
value
does
of
yes?
Twilio,
Okay.
and can you change the number, or how do you kind of
Let's
bridge that
see.
gap?
Let me know on Zoom, you guys, if you could put in the chat or unmute. Let us know. Are you currently using Twilio? I just want to kind of see how many people are using it right now. And in the room, anybody here using it? No, nobody in the room. Anybody on Zoom? Number I can't keep track of. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit more about that for you guys. Okay, so what Twilio is a service that will generate a phone number for you, and it will be the same phone number. So it won't be your phone number that you're currently using, but you can get one that stays the same. So it doesn't change every time you send a text message. So if you want to be able to use command to send automated text messages or bulk text messages, you can link it to Twilio. It starts at like $3.50 a month. It's a little less than that for like 300 text messages, I think. And then it goes up from there depending on how many you want. And if you don't use all of your text messages 1 month, they'll roll over to the next month, and they roll over for up to a year. So you've got quite an opportunity to use all of them.
$350 a month.
No, $3. Not $350. 3.50, I think. I think it actually starts at less than that. Give me 1 second. Let me adjust my Zoom screen here. All right. So what you can do is sign up for Twilio, and when you see a step like this that says send SMS or MMS, that will allow you to send an automated text message to somebody. You will have already stated what you want that message to say, but it will go out automatically when it gets to that part of the smart plan. So you don't have to then physically go do it. You can also do bulk messages through command, and you can use Twilio to do that as well. So if you're hosting an event and you want to send out a reminder text, you can send a bulk text to everybody to say, hey, don't forget pictures of Santa, RSVP here, whatever the case may be. If you do not want to use Twilio, you can set up a task reminder instead of the text step. So just like we have a touch task right here, you can set up a task that says, hey, it's time to go text somebody, and it will put a task in your task system in command or on your command app to remind you, hey, it's time to text so-and-so about their birthday. So that's the way you can set up text reminders without actually package, but of course, then that's gonna be the manual. You have to remember to go and actually send the text message. All right, so I hope that answered all the questions about, I see Whitney said she signed up for it. Have you used it at all, Whitney? I use it multiple times a week personally. We use it for the office too. When we send out messages about, events coming up at the office, we use a couple of different texting services, but that's one of them that we use. And you do get notifications in command and on the command app. So you can get the text right to your phone now. You just have to reply through your texting. You can't text through Twilio on your cell phone yet. That will be in the next app version. But if somebody texts you and you get the text inside your app, you can hit that contact and actually text them directly from your cell phone if you want to. I see a couple more questions came in the chat. She said, sign up. I think I have the free emails package. Oh, so Whitney, if you have an email package with Twilio, you probably didn't sign up through command, because I know that the sign up in command is just the texting. That doesn't mean that they don't have other things. That's just all that is linked to. I think, did I answer all the questions about Twilio? Then if we go back to this birthday plan, you can see that this one that's developed by International has a touch task that says send your handwritten note. That would go out, that would send a reminder to you 6 days before their birthday. It's time to make this note. You just have to check your tasks, whether it's on the computer or in the app, it'll be in both places for you. And then 4 days will go by, and then you'll get another reminder that says call, and you can see there's this kind of a little, not a script, but it's already pre-written for you for what that task would be. So it would say, call Kinga, here's her phone number as part of the birthday smart plan, and her birthday is, December 25th. She's a Christmas baby. So it would have all that information right in that call task for you. And then this one has another 1 day delay, and then a touch task, and it says send a social post to, and it would say Kinga for her birthday on 12/25. So that would be a prompt for you to go say happy birthday on social media. And then the last step would be the happy birthday text message, which you can absolutely customize. And if there's something you don't want to do, you can just skip that step. I do want to let you guys know that this birthday one, the anniversary plan, and the monthly neighborhood nurture, you cannot change the steps. You can change the text inside of it. So like the text message you can customize, the phone script you could customize. However, because they are linked to specific dates inside command, you can't actually say, I want this to be a 3-day delay instead of a 4-day, or I want to delete this step completely. But that just means that when that task comes up, if it's something you don't want to do, you can just delete the task and not. Any other questions? I don't see anything in the chat. Anything else about birthdays? Yes.
While you're talking about that specific smart plan, so so whenever I clicked into that specific smart plan,
Yes.
I'm looking at the steps, and I know I can't edit except the text. I don't understand when is it telling me how soon to do it? Like step 1 is birthday card.
Oh, I just know that because there's only 2 plans that are like that. So the anniversary and the birthday are the only ones that start like X amount of days before the date that's programmed into the system. So those are the only 2 plans that will act that way. So I just know that from teaching it. It doesn't necessarily say that it'll be a week before.
So if I were to create a smart plan,
You cannot set a trigger like that. Only those 2 plans can be triggered like that, linked to that date, because those are the only 2 dates that are programmed into command.
got it. So it's automatically, and I can't tamper with that, where 6 days before their birthday, it's going to tell me.
Correct. And that's just these 2 plans. And then the monthly neighborhood nurture, there is no date. It's just that automatically that update goes out every month or every 2 weeks, depending on how you have it set up. Every other plan, you can customize with the delays, when you want it to start, how long you want it to run, all that type of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's just those couple that are very particular. And I will go ahead and
I just asked that because the mail service lately is awful.
Oh, you're right.
And I like 6 days before. It's taking like 3 weeks
to go out. Yeah.
You know.
That's a good point. Now I mean, there are other things you could do, but obviously it would be more manual work for you because you can absolutely manually make tasks, or you could create a new smart plan, and that's not the Keller Williams one, and say, when you make a smart plan, you can say what day you want it to go out. So you would have to assign people individually and pick the day you want it to run. So that if you have a big database, that could take a lot of time to do that. Oh, I see something came in the chat too. Jenny, can you add a gift card to a text smart plan? Can you elaborate on that? That's a great question. You mean, can we like actually put a gift, like a digital gift card in the text message? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm asking.
Yeah, with the texting, you can embed links in it. So if that's what you're thinking, if you have a digital gift card that has a link, you can just put that in the text copy of the step. So let me see if I can pull up that. And that's really good for referrals too, if you want to like thank somebody for sending you a referral. So here's my birthday one. I have my Zoom window. 1 second. Okay, so whenever you're in your smart plans, if you hit the little pencil, that will let you get into edit steps. All right. So for example, I'm in the birthday plan. If we go down to that text message step right here, I can type whatever I want in here. And I believe 140 or 160 characters is one Twilio text. This will let you put up to 148 inside that message. So if you have 480, I can't, I'm like dyslexic today. I don't know what's going on.
I understand.
480 characters is your limit. So if you do have 480, that would obviously use a couple of your credits with Twilio. So that's all that's saying there. And then I think Jenny wrote in the chat again. Oh, no, I thought I saw another chat pop up. So you can absolutely put links in here. I would recommend, because those characters are limited, I would recommend going to a site like Bitly or, tiny URL, something like that, to shrink it so that you don't have something that's like this long that you're putting in a text message when it can only take up 10 characters. But yeah, you can absolutely put links in there. I definitely sent people the link to the new app through Twilio, and it worked just great. So Jenny, if that didn't answer your question, please let us know. You cannot add like pictures. It has to be text only. So but you can do, there's a little emoji button. So you do have the ability to do, whoops, I clicked it twice. You can add these little emojis just like you would on your phone into those text messages. Any other questions about the birthday plan while we're here? Now, Jenny, I know you were talking about text specifically. Let's say you're doing a email step in your smart plan, maybe not necessarily the birthday one, because I don't think there is an email step in here. Let me pull up another one. There's 2 types of emails that you can do in the system. I'm going to pull up. Sample that I've already got created. So here is a send email step, and you can see that it's if somebody replies, it comes to my email, and you guys can configure that inside your settings in Command. So if you want to go to a different email, you can do that. And then you put your subject line in, and then you have the option here that says email type, and it says simple or designs. And currently I have designs selected. So I have already built a template inside the designs platform, and I can go ahead and hit edit or preview and see that email that I have created. And you can see in this, I can embed images. I can put a video link in there. I can have a button. So if I hit this, it'll take you to a calendar. So I can have that button embedded right into my email as well. So that you would have created inside designs before you come to the smart plan section. The other thing you can do is choose simple. And this is just like, it's very similar to, writing an email in Gmail. So you can put your text in there. You do still have some fun fonts, editing options. You can make them bigger, change the colors. You can embed links. However, you can't do your images or embed an actual video or something in the simple. So if you had a link to a gift card or an image of a gift card that you wanted to do, you could use one of these simple or designs templates or a gift card through email as well. Right. So what other smart plans are you guys using? I know before I go into that, it sounds like a lot of you guys were in or watching the 36 touch class we did yesterday. Has anybody, I can't see Zoom, 1 second, let me make you guys think again. Has anybody implemented Kimber Walton's monthly plan, monthly email plan, monthly neighborhood, not neighborhood, monthly newsletter? Not yet, not yet. Okay. Go ahead, Christy.
I have a question about that. So it's 3 parts because legal estate stuff, she explained this. It's 3 different parts.
Correct.
So I'm downloading all 3 and adding my contact to all 3 and it knows
Just the one.
just the one and then I have to set myself a task to put it on the second one.
Nope, it'll do it for you. Here, I'll pull it up. Okay. I didn't see anybody on Zoom say that they're using it. So if you are using it, go ahead and let us know in the chat. If not, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right now. Kimber is a market center tech trainer and an agent in Utah. And she not only came to our, to our class via Zoom yesterday. However, she's been teaching all over the country and she spent the time to put together this plan for you guys. So what it is a 3-part monthly newsletter that is, it's not seasonal and it is a good one-to-many conversation and it's good, it's not regional. So anybody in the country could use it. It has buyer tips, it has seller tips, it has different things to help just kind of start that conversation between you and your clients. And what Christy was saying is that it is a 3-part plan. So one of the stipulations that smart plans have is that they can only be 90 days long. So if you want to create a drip that goes for 12 months, that's obviously 4 times the length that you can have a 90-day plan, right? So Kimber made 3 plans and she's working on the next ones and they're 3 parts. Each part is 3 emails. So part 1 is email 1, 30-day wait, email 2, 30-day wait, email 3, 30-day wait. And then the last step, Christy, this is what you're waiting for, is start plan 2. So it will automatically start the next plan that will also do the 3 months of emails, which will then start the next plan that will start the next 3 months of emails. The last step on part 3 will say, hey, it's time to go get steps 4, 5, and 6 because she hadn't built those at the time that she released these first 9 emails. So did that help answer your question on what you have to do?
Yes, can you go in?
Yep.
Because I'm on part 1 right now
Yeah,
and I'm
absolutely.
going to add it and now I'm
Okay, yeah, not a problem.
One question. Yeah. I'm sorry. Did you-
Go ahead, Brad.
Oh, I was.
Oh,
gonna
wait,
say,
let's do the mics. Everybody can hear.
It looks like you're going to be able to show us how to implement that and to set it up.
Yep.
Can you do it and have it start like in a little bit later date?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, you absolutely
fabulous.
can. Great
Okay,
question.
Thank you.
And then I know Freddie had a question too.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You don't need to apologize. So we're here for it.
My question is this only for new leads or can we use this smart plan for anybody?
Oh, good
That's
question.
fine.
Yeah, you can use it for anybody that you want. This is not a plan that's like, oh, it's so great to meet you. It's nothing like that. It's really stuff to just educate people about the real estate market. Not necessarily what's going on in the market, but just the industry, I guess is a better word versus market. And you can actually, I'll pull up right now her plan and you can kind of take a look through that in your own accounts too. She was very purposeful about making this, that it is 100% ready to, you can just add people to it and it will be customized to you. There's nothing you have to change about it. Kimber Walton. And I'll show you how to find it in just a second here, but she did plan it out that way, so it's not gonna say, you know, have her name in it or say anything about Utah in it or anything like that, right? It's just ready to go. But you can absolutely go through, maybe there's a step that you're like, I don't want to talk about this topic with my clients, so you can just delete it. That's fine. So.
So what, that's automatically set, correct?
It is automatically sent. Once you set it up, it will run for 9 months.
So how do we know what they're going to set for the next one? Or-
They're all set already, so you can look ahead for all 9 months. Yep, it's all in there. Exactly. Good question. So Freddie had asked, how do we know what they're sending in the future? And so I'll show you that right now. I'm going to go back to Smart Plans. Sure nothing's coming in the chat. And if you go to the library up at the top again, there's a couple of ways you can find it. If you search by the plan name, you can just put 36-touch. Oops, I don't think I spelled it. Oh, I did. Oh, I missed the 3.
There you go.
Oh, but there it is. So you can see there's 36-touch, part 3, part 2, and part 1. You can click on any of those where it says add smart plan. I like to start at part 1 because I want to make sure I get all 3 steps. And what will happen, I've already downloaded it, but what will happen is this will say download where mine says success already. So you'll click download, you'll click the second download, and you'll click the third download.
Mine doesn't do that.
Yeah, mine doesn't open.
Let's see.
I clicked part 1,
Yeah, so you hit download,
but that's part 3.
and there's part 2. You just need to download all 3 of them.
It doesn't matter what order I download them. I'm not supposed to make it up.
No. There you go. Yep. So it doesn't matter what order they're in. The point right now is just to get all 3 into your system. Yes.
Amy, I'm seeing part 1, 2, and 3, and when I click on there, nothing's coming up like I see on there.
And you clicked on part 1. Let me take it.
Oh, no, you have to scroll down.
So you have to hit the add smart plan button.
Right in the class.
There we go. Perfect. Putting the pieces together. I love it. Okay, so yes, let me go back 1 second just to make sure nobody else missed that step. Once you find the smart plans here, I like to start at 1 because I know that will grab 2 and 3. Scroll down to the bottom of the information about that particular plan and hit add smart plan. That's how you'll get this little window to pop up. And if you have not already added it to your system, where mine says success, it will say download. So click download, wait for the next one, click download again, and then click download the 3rd time. And all of those will then be available in the My Smart Plan section. So I'm going to click on My Smart Plans at the top. I've already added them to mine. And if you are just adding them right now, they will be at the top of your list. Mine are not because I added them a while ago. So I'm just going to type in 36 to find them. Maybe I renamed them. Yeah. There we go. So here are the 3 in here. So you can see that all 3 parts are already in here. And Freddie, to go back to your question about how do we know what the content is, how can I see that? I can hit that little pencil just like I showed you before on the other plans. And as I scroll through, you'll see the email is right here. So I can hit my 3 little dots, I can hit preview design, and I can see the whole email that she has set up and ready to go. So you can see this one is about 4 frequently asked buyer questions. This is very general. It's got the answers. And then at the bottom here, you can see where it says, you know, agent mobile, agent website, and we got our market center information. All of that is going to pull in from your marketing profile. So you don't have to add that. It will happen automatically. Yes, Christy.
Is there a way to send like a test email to see?
Yeah, absolutely. So Christy asked if you could send a test email. So you don't want to send the whole plan. You just want to send one to see what it looks like, right? So again, if you hit those 3 little dots, if you hit edit design instead of preview, you can say got it. And all the way up at the top, kind of near the right, there's a button that says options. And if you click that, there's a send test email in that little drop down. So you can send it to yourself to see what it looks like.
Amy, Amy, once you download all three, how did you get to the page that you're on right now?
Yeah, we'll go back one more time. See, I didn't make no changes. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my library. So when you have downloaded from the general library into my smart plans, if this is the first time you downloaded it, they should just be at the top of your list. For me, they're a little farther down, so I'm just gonna type in Kimber's name. Maybe. Oh, I typed it twice. As I'm going faster than the computer. That happens sometimes. Okay, so here's my 36 touch. So whichever one you want to open and look at, just come to the far right and hit the little pencil that says edit. That will open up the smart plan for you so that you have the ability to make any updates or check out any information that's in there. And you can see here's the first email, and then we have a 30-day delay, another email, another 30-day delay, another email, another 30-day delay. And here's the question that Christy was asking earlier, do I have to then add them to part 2? This plan, once those 3 have been sent out, the last step is add to the next smart plan. So it will automatically start part 2 for you. Does that make sense? So you only have to add them the one time, and then it will run them through all 3 months. The last task on the all 9 months. The last task on the 3rd plan at the end of the 9 months, you will get a task reminder that says go get plans 4, 5, and 6. And you'll do this again for the next 9 months. Does that make sense?
So she has 4, 5, and 6, right?
She said they should be out in January. So if you won't need it until, August. So they'll be there by the time you need it. One other tip that she likes to do that she shared was that she does have a full 36 touch program, and she uses events as part of that. She uses the monthly neighborhood nurture as part of that. But she does her stats around the 1st of every month, and she does this newsletter around the 15th of every month. That way she knows that they're not getting a stat email one day and 2 days later, the newsletter, and then nothing for a whole month. Right? So she has it kind of spaced out. So that was one tip that I think a lot of people liked.
Is that stats and the newsletter in this SmartPlan?
This newsletter is just the newsletter. The stats are different. So you could use your monthly neighborhood nurture as part of that. She also has created one. I'm going to get out of this smart plan. And this will be one that you'll have to update a little bit because her stats are for her area, right? If you go to the library, and for those of you that use eEdge, this will look a little familiar. If you go to the library and look for NAR, who I don't know why that popped up on the screen. I don't know why it's not pulling up. Let's search by her name instead. We're going to switch to author name. I think I'm going too fast. X out of this. Search one more time. Refresh the page. A lot of Kimberly's also qualifies for, okay, so here we go. See how she has 36 touch October 21 NAR market update. So here's a sample of one of them. And the step, it's just the one email. Let me add that and we'll open it up so you can see what it looks like. So this one would be something you would have to do monthly because you don't have the stats far enough ahead of time. Does that make sense? You don't want to be sending stats about October 21
In
and January 22, right? In Utah, exactly.
Oh, interesting.
But the email's in here so that I can just go in and hit edit she's already got the whole template built. All you have to do is go to the NAR website and grab the information and put it in its corresponding location. And then she made this, I'm probably in designs, maybe in Canva, I did not ask. She did a little recap so that if people don't know what this means, there's a nice little recap under Canva.
It is.
So that she's got in there as well. And just checking Zoom. I don't see any questions in the chat. Let us know if you guys have anything else you want to hear about this stuff.
So this comes out every month.
Yes, the NAR statistics come out every month. You just go out to their website, grab the info you want, and drop it in the plan. So then that's something she sends out manually every month. Maybe she sets up a task reminder to remind herself to do it. But like I said, you can't quite get those stats far enough ahead of time to schedule them ahead of time. Okay, yes.
Good question. So I just went to add myself to this smart plan. Tested. And whenever I clicked on add contacts and I typed in my name, there are 5 Christy Avalars that come up.
Oh,
So I'm on a team.
yep.
So I'm assuming this is also pulling if my team has me in their database as a contact.
You should only be able to see, as a team, you can only see people that you are assigned to. So you may be in there, and also the only way you can have duplicates like that, this is a great question, is the contact information is not the same. So maybe you're in there with a phone number and your KW email and your personal email, and so something is different in every single one of those contacts.
Because now I'm like, which one do I choose?
Right.
And if I just choose all 5 to be safe, am I gonna get 5 emails?
If all 5 are different emails, yes. Good question. So just a little side note, I do like to tell everybody to put themselves into command as a test, but don't use your Keller Williams email. Use a personal one because you want to make sure that you're receiving it as a client would receive it. Not that you wouldn't from your KW email, but it's kind of weird to send a KW email to a KW email. So then you can put in your name like Christy Personal Avalar, Christy Business, whatever, just so you know for when you're testing, so that you don't have to run through which of these 5 is the one I want to actually send it to. That's a little tip I have for you. Also, with smart plans for teams, if you are an assignee of a contact, they'll come up as an option to send it to. And depending on how your team has set up the smart plan functionality, it may default to come from your Rainmaker, or you may have the choice to say come from the assignee, which would be you. So just keep an eye out for that too. And every team is set up a little different. Some team members have the ability to change those settings. Some it's only the admin can change the settings. So I don't know how everybody's accounts are set up, but that's just good to be aware of. And that made me think of something else. Oh, so speaking of adding your contacts, I don't know if you guys noticed, but up in the top right-hand corner, right next to that save button, there's a little person with a plus sign. That's one way that you can add contacts. It's going to take a little longer if you're sending this to a whole list. So I'm going to show you a way that you can add up to 500 people at one time. Does that sound good? Okay. So we're going to actually leave smart plans. So in order to do this, you need to have your smart plan built and in your own smart plans. You cannot pull something from the public library to do this. It has to be in your smart plans. Make sense? Okay. So go to contacts. And if you have not already set up your contact section to default to 500, on the far right-hand side, just above that gray bar, it's going to say show 1 to 10, 1 to 100, something like that. You can click that number and say 500 contacts. So that means it will show you up to 500 contacts at one time without having to hit to go to the next page. You can just scroll through 500 at a time. Yes.
Can you default it to switch the name to last name first?
Yes. Good question. Remind me in a second. Let me show you how to do this, and I can show you how to update those defaults too. So if you have not already made this say 500, click on show 1 through whatever yours says, click 500, and you can see I only have 256 in my database, so that's showing my entire database right now. So then what you can do is hit, because if this is a plan that you probably want to send to everybody. So if there's anybody you don't want, click the checkbox next to the word name on the left. And like, let's say we don't want to send it to my first person here. I can just uncheck his name. Or I can check it back on if that was an accident. So once you have all of your people selected, you can see just above that first checkbox, it says selected 256. And just to the right of that, I now have the opportunity to select a full action. So I can do that. It's going to open a new drop down for me. And I'm going to scroll through that until I see add to SmartPlan. Guys, I'll see that. Add to SmartPlan.
This won't send anything, right?
No, I'll stop you before we,
Okay.
if you're following along, I'll stop you before we send it. So we're gonna hit add to SmartPlan. And on the right-hand side, you'll see all of the smart plans. This is why you had to have it in your list already. So you can either scroll through there or type in the search bar to find the one you're looking for. I'm just gonna choose this first one. And then you'll have the option to send all right now. Or Pam, as we were talking about setting a later date, you can choose the second one and say what date you want it to go out.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Could you go through those steps one more time?
Yep, we'll
Okay.
go through it one more time. I just want to point out that there is a third option. If you guys are sending something and you want it to go out in batches, so maybe you don't want to send 500 today, maybe you want, 20 today, 20 the next day, 20 the next day, you can use the stagger feature for that. Once you hit confirm on here, it will give you one more opportunity to confirm, but this is pretty much the last step for adding people to that plan. So I'm going to go through that one more time. We're going to start from the contact screen. I'm going to uncheck what I did. So if you have not defaulted your settings to show 500 contacts at a time, hit the button in the top right above the gray bar that says show 1 through something. Click 500. Perfect. That will show up to 500 contacts at one time. Then go to the left-hand side of the screen, hit the checkbox next to name. You'll see just above that checkbox how many people you have selected. And just to the right of that, a new option that says select full actions. Oops. And a drop-down is going to appear. So from that drop-down, I want to find add to SmartPlan. And then all of my smart plans that I have in my list will appear. So you can scroll through there or type in the name to find the one you're looking for. And once you do, you just hit select. Then you choose when you want it to send. Right now, a later date or stagger. And so that way you can add up to 500 people at one time. Close that. And I'm going to go back to Patrick's question. So you asked if we could default your name to be last name, first name, right? So it will always show up first name, last name. However, you can sort it alphabetically by last name. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to uncheck everything. So this is just kind of a little tip for your contacts in general, is that you can customize these views. So right now you can see my smart view right here says all contacts. I would recommend going and hitting 500 right now. And then if you do want to change the order of how your contacts appear, just click on that name button and there's a few options. We have sort by first name A to Z, first name Z to A, last name A to Z, last name Z to A. So Patrick, you want to do A to Z but by last name, right? So click that option. And now you'll see that they'll be alphabetical by last name. It still will be first name, then last name, but they'll be alpha by last name. And then if you want to save this, so you don't have to update that every single time, you just go to, you can either create or save your smart view. So if I want to save it like this, I can hit this blue button right here that says save smart view. So that's just going to apply it to my all contacts smart view. So now when I log out and come back in to contacts, it will still be set up the same way. I don't have to go through all those clicks again. That make sense? And if you want to create a new smart view altogether, you just hit this little drop down here and hit create smart view. You can name it whatever you like. And those come in handy if you, because you can do your filters for that. Any filters you want to apply to a smart view, any customization of this column that you want to apply to the smart view, you can make all of those different smart views and search for contacts that way as well. And since we've been talking about the app a little bit, all of your smart views are available on the app too. So you can't necessarily manipulate all this data on the app because it's, it's a phone. Nobody wants to deal with that on a phone screen. So if you set it up in command and create your smart view, you're in your app, you can hit Smart View and see everything that you've already created and pull up your lists that way as well. All right, it is 11:31. I know we're a little slow to get started, so I appreciate you guys hanging out at the beginning. I want to open it up again to see if you guys have any other questions. And we didn't talk about the golden letter. Pam, that is one, if you type in the golden letter in the SmartPlan library, there's probably 10 plans in there. You can just pick
And
whichever
am I
one you
calling,
like.
am I calling it right? I'm not sure that's what it's called, but
That is.
it's a letter like to introduce yourself as, guess what? I'm starting selling real estate. Is
Oh,
what
so
that's
that
called
one,
or
I would
not?
look for announcement, like
Announcement?
agent announcement. And it might be, like, I know you've been in the industry. I think most of them are written as like, hey, I'm just getting into real estate, but you can go in and update it. Like, oh, I made a career change. Like, you were still in the industry, so you're not really new to real estate, but new to, Keller Williams or this side of things, right?
Okay.
You can kind of customize that to yourself. Good question. I don't see anything else that has come in the chat.
Question.
Yes, Christy.
Sorry, I'm
No.
reading today.
Don't be sorry. That's what we're here for.
All right, you may or may not know the answer, but I sent one to two different of my email addresses.
Okay.
So now I have two follow-up questions.
Okay.
I sent one to my personal.
Yes.
I got it,
Perfect.
but it put it in the promotions tab in
Okay.
my inbox. Is there any way to get around that?
Not necessarily. It could be, so you can say in command in your settings where the email is coming from. So sometimes if you change that, it can help, but not really. And it's just a Gmail setting. It comes in a little different on different platforms. That's a good question. If somebody moves it one time, it should just follow, but of course you can't control what your clients are doing, right?
And then is there a way to edit the preview text? Because it's not, doesn't look right.
I don't think the preview text, so you can edit the subject line, but not the preview text. I'd have to look at her, so that's her, oh, yeah, we'd have to look at that email. That's a good question. In command to see how she built it out. So Christie's, when she sent it to herself, it said preview text instead of, what the preview should be. But that also might be, did you send it as a test email, right?
No, that was, I put myself
On the smart plan? Okay, so that was me, my question is, maybe if you sent it as a test, that's why it came through that way, but it sounds like that's not it. So we can take a look at her actual email and see if that, if there's something we can update. Any other questions? I don't see anything coming through on Zoom. I'm gonna stop sharing, see if I can see anybody with questions. So everybody's off screen. Okay, well then I'm gonna stop recording.